Welcome to another episode of Metaphysical Moments. I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Today we're going to meet Victor Vogenits. He is the seance medium of Cassadaga, Florida. Victor has over 40 plus years of spiritualism and seance mediumship under his belt. Victor is a wonderful man and joins us from Florida. So stay tuned right after this commercial where we can learn a little bit more about Victor and all his adventures in table tipping. Now, a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to a different kind of inner peace. Here at the Metaphysical Resource Center, you will find a variety of classes, services, and events. We sell metaphysical products and accessories. You can schedule a session with one of our professional healers, mediums, readers, or even a table tipping event. We are your resource for all things metaphysical.
We know you're coming, darling, for that reading, and tell him Psychic Sissy sent ya.
Welcome back, and now we're going to join Victor Vogenits. Hi, Victor. How you doing?
Fine, Sid. Thank you for bringing me to New Orleans and Louisiana. I love your center, and I love the state. I've never met as many hospitable and gracious people as I have here in New Orleans and Louisiana. So this is like one of my favorite places to come to.
Well, we have definitely enjoyed your visit here. We've already had 2 table tipping seances, and they have been astounding. We're booked up. We don't have any room for anybody else. So let's tell the audience a little bit about what you do, about table tipping and seances, and what brought you to it. How did you get into spiritualism and into physical mediumship?
Well, I started out at 16 in Cassadaga studying with one of the best mediums who happened to be a physical medium. So I just naturally acquired the taste for physical phenomena versus a mental medium where you go and sit and have a reading, because it's so much more personal. It's not someone telling you that your loved one's here. It's they're there and they're right here, and they're in your face. They're capable of answering your questions. You get binary reactions, yes, no. And then of course the more enthusiastic they are, the more we see things moving. Gosh, last night the table was dancing with that one lady, and so I find it much more fulfilling form of mediumship versus just somebody telling me something's happening. It's like right there in my face. Mm-hmm. So I acquired the taste for that, and physical phenomena also goes along with today's paranormal investigations. Most paranormal investigators are actually physical mediums, but they don't realize it because you're asking spirit to do something. Hey, turn that light on for me. Make the smell meter go up and down. Change the temperature. Well, that's exactly what the old-fashioned spiritualists did in the 1800s, except they didn't have the equipment. They said, give me a sign of your presence, knock on something, move something, make this float, talk to me in the air. So, actually, physical phenomena mediumship is probably one of the oldest forms of mediumship.
Yes, this is way back.
Mm-hmm.
Way back. So, again, let's talk a little bit about your place in Cassadaga where people will come for a seance. So, tell us a little bit about its location and a little bit about what to expect if we're coming to a table tipping seance.
Well, we have a nice little cottage house in Cassadaga, a friendly little place. It's behind the Andrew Jackson Davis bookstore. You can't miss the house. We've done so many seances over the years in the house, and we've had so many mediums from all over the world. Don't want to name drop, but the energy is so high in our seance room that there's generally no problem connecting with your loved ones. So, of course, what happens with a table is the table happens to be the center focal point for the energy in the room. And it's, as you and I know, it's the easiest form of mediumship for people that don't sit frequently. That was the one wonderful thing about the table. The original spiritualists years ago were trying to figure out, well, how do we know this is real? How do we show people that it's real? And of course, as we've discussed, the history of the table tipping goes back to the Ottoman Empire and the Knights Templar seeing them do it in Jerusalem with the Sufis. Well, your loved ones are capable of stepping into the table and manipulating it, whether it's the old spiritualists used to say there were rods of ectoplasm under the table. And I think, actually, I love quantum physics, because quantum physics today is answering all the questions and reaffirming all the statements the old-fashioned mediums had. It's just they didn't have the technological grasp of how they do it. You know, personally, I think they just alter the gravity in the table, and it's easier for them to manipulate it that way. But your loved ones step into the table, and they're just like directly there with you. And the movements of the table express their emotional states, and the raps, the taps, the turns, is just, you know, the table is an avatar. It's, you know, for all my comic book fans, it's, you know, like an exoskeleton, you know, it's like an Iron Man suit where they can step into that environment and then manipulate it to talk to you. And of course, they'll talk first symbolically, you know, sign language, you watch it. But as you know now, the table's taken to talking on its own. When it moves, you can hear it say words, and sometimes it'll grumble if you're not happy with what you're doing. Or so the whole purpose is to give you physical proof that you're communicating with somebody on your terms. And of course, I like I said before, I think that with a table, they have a chance to come back into our dimension and feel again.
And I'd like to let our viewers know that too, that, you know, it's not just the table. Other things can happen too. Share some of this thing with us. What other kind of phenomena can happen in this, or that we've seen happen in this seance?
We always refer to it as ancillary phenomena. There are other things that happen in the room. And man, there are people walking around in the room, you see them, you hear them. We get voices in the air, indirect voice. We've had people, I want to do this. Should I do this? That's right. And you hear it directly in the room. Or if there are issues of forgiveness where somebody, you know, I forgive you for the way you treated me, you know, I understand. And you'll hear, just like a burden that's being lifted off somebody's shoulders. Temperature changes. You've sat with us where we're seeing our breath in the room. And it's Central Florida, and a house that's built in the 30s, so it's not exactly insulated. Allow that to happen. Spirits using the heat. You get raps and taps. You get physical responses. You don't need camera to see orbs. You can see orbs floating around the room. You see flashes of light. Of course, the ectoplasm, you can see it form, and so there's
lots of
other stuff that happen.
Great. And so for our viewers, just to let them get a grasp of everything, I want to say just one of the most amazing things that I've seen, because actually in a seance just 2 nights ago, and this happens a lot at our center, well, a lot of us said the floor actually looked uneven, and I loved your explanation of that. It looked like the floor was, like the whole floor of the whole room was on a sling, because the people at this side of the table were lower than the people on this side of the table. You had a great explanation about that when you explained to everybody about the dynamics. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was, first of all, in quantum mechanics they call it a morphic field. And what you really are is the old-fashioned mediums used to call a circle. All right, the term is we have a circle. Well, it's as if you can almost imagine yourself in a snow globe, and you're on the edge of space-time. So you're not exactly in Kansas anymore, but you're not all the way over there. So reality literally can become distorted. Time. We've had seances where it seems like we've hardly had anything happen, and we look up and it's 2.5 hours because we stepped out of normal time trying to meet. Other nights where we've just been laying across the table exhausted. We had so much phenomena in the room happen, and you look up and it's barely been 60 minutes. So you know that you're not, first of all, the normal time, and then second, in the case of that night, it was most of the people on this side of the table had a reading, and people here hadn't. So it was as if the energy had shifted and said, okay, we don't need to be over here anymore. We need to be here. But of course, for these people, it's like, hey, I'm looking uphill. You know, what's going on? You know, we're uphill. Things are buckling. And it was just, you know, it's one of those wonderful energetic things that happen when you're out of that normal continuum.
I can tell you just from personal, I've known that table tipping has definitely changed the lives of some of my very close relatives and close friends, and it's been a wonderful release. If anything, it's a release when what I find different in table tipping versus mental mediums. In table tipping, the sitter gets to do most of the expression, gets to do the talking, where in mental it's always the medium.
And also, I really believe that when you say spirit, that's a 19th century word, the 21st century world. I like to think of it as a surviving consciousness. Hello?
Yes, you heard that.
You heard that.
Yes.
They agree. What happens is that they come back here and have the opportunity, like I say, to feel again. They can smell you again, they can touch you again, they can feel you again. And for them, the experience is as much for the spirit that's coming in as us, the sitter. Where the table, we call it hugs, where the table will come up and come against you, and it's as if they're in that field of the table, just like here, and they're trying to reach out to touch you. Let me feel you one more time, to the point where we've had the table turn and put the legs around somebody like it was just trying to hold them and feel them again one more time. And somebody holds you, they love you. They're your loved ones. They were your husbands, your wives, your grandmothers. They're the people that cared about you. And for them to have the opportunity, this may be the only time that they have to feel you again until you cross over to meet them. And of course, you're not in the same sensory realm that we are here. They're in the fifth dimension, so they don't have the tactile senses anymore. So they get to come back here and be third dimensional again one more time. And there's to say that if I could come back right now and hold my grandmother one more time and feel her hug me, that would be probably the best experience I'd have for the rest of my life.
And that's a blessing. Hold on a second. So, in just a moment, after this commercial break, we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this session up. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Let's get on with that interview. So Victor, one of the things I want you to share with the audience is a little bit about what exactly can the table do, or what does it do?
Well, actually, when you say table tipping, it's really a misnomer, because the table does so much more than that. Throughout history, there are accounts, and it's happened in our century, the table will get up and run off on its own. It maybe wants to go see somebody the loved one comes to the table and just, I want to come over and see this person over there, and we all get pushed out of the way because the table goes over, literally on its own. Also, it levitates. So when you say tipping, if you go in our seance room, which you see the holes in the ceiling where the table's gone up and popped against the foam. We've got pictures of the table floating up with just two people holding it like this while I'm taking the picture, and it's adhered to the ceiling. Well, all the movement in the table is a reflection of the emotional state of the person who's coming through. Boy, if they want to see you, and it's the greatest thing in the world to them, it's like, boom, the table's right over there, and it's up in a person's face, because it's like, I want to see you again. This is so great to be in your presence. Other times, I'm so happy with joy that it just
elevates. I've actually seen that in seance with you, and one of our most memorable moments with Victor was actually my mother used to love to do cartwheels, and my sister yells out, "Mom, remember how you used to do cartwheels?" And the table literally flipped on its side and started doing cartwheels all around the seance room. We're like, wow,
Yeah, we're going like, okay, hope the legs stay on.
Stay on the legs, stay on. The sitter can really see anything. You never know what's going to happen.
Nope, everyone's different.
Know. Everything.
This is a spirit you bring with you when you come.
So because I know this sounds to a lot of our audience members really way out there, so tell them what's the scariest thing that happens.
Well, the scariest part to me is you have to sing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that goes all the way back again to the old mediums, because spirit uses energy. Now, in quantum terms, heat. That's why it gets cold in the room.
Right.
Heat's converted into energy to move objects. We sing because, one, the sound of the human voice is energy. So spirit can take that acoustic waveform and convert it into energy to move things. Now, they told me quite early, don't quit my day job. I'm not going on American Idol or anything. So when we sing, that's about the scariest part is hearing us sing.
And luckily with modern technology, we don't have to sing as much, because tell them about the devices that we use to help in the room.
I have learned through my contacts with all the other paranormal investigators I talk to, their machines are called EM pumps, and it's electromagnetic energy. The little devices that make milligausses of energy. They were discovered because most paranormal investigators got tired of their batteries. We used to film in the seance room. I've got probably 180 hours of night vision filming. We turn the camera on, brand new charged battery, click, click, dead. They look for the closest and easiest form of energy to convert, to do this physical movement. Well, they discovered that if they have a machine that produces milligausses of energy, spirit goes, oh, that's even better, and goes and borrows the energy from there and uses it. And they come in all sizes and shapes. I've got, they'll go anywhere from 80 milligauss to, I got some monsters that'll put out 30,000, 40,000 milligauss of energy. And the nice thing is, spirits learn to borrow energy from all the sitters now. They used to just take it from the medium and wear them out. Now they can take the energy from these devices and the other sitters, and we all aren't as worn out at the end of the seance. I love studying about the most effective way to communicate with spirit and the most effective way scientifically to give them energy to come in. So the use of EM pumps, I highly recommend it.
And another thing I want to let our sitters know, because another thing not to be afraid of, is that like most seances you see in England, which is done in complete darkness,
Right.
other than very few luminous objects. In your seance room, it's dark, but it's very visible, so you can see what's happening.
I keep my trumpet above the table, and I have the paint that's on that trumpet is what they use for emergency signs. Cost me $9 a gram for that paint, and you leave that trumpet out in the sun for an hour and it'll glow all night. Well, one, it puts enough light on the table so that you can see my hands.
Right. It's everybody's age. You can see the table.
Yeah, but I do it for
Yeah.
the sitters so that they know that it's a security device. I'm not nothing up my sleeves,
Right.
or anything like that. But it makes a contrast in the room where you can sometimes see spirit or walk by lit objects and block the light out. Other times you'll see the ectoplasm floating on the light coming into the room. So I like a slightly lit environment for first time, sitters. Now, if you're one of my students, we'll eventually go to just like the British, we'll go to a
Right.
dark room and then say, okay,
Because the
start
darkness you
using
get
light.
more materialization.
Right.
Which with more dark, more materialization you'll get. But definitely, there's really nothing to be afraid of in a sense.
Oh,
That's what
no,
it
no.
is.
And your safety and security is always my first concern.
Right.
If you're scared of the dark, don't worry about it. I've got extra little 4-watt red lights I'll turn on, and anything to make you comfortable. Now, I won't promise they'll stay on.
Right.
Okay. We've got one red light that we put in the back of the room, and they'll turn it on and off. On and off, on and off. And we've replaced the wall switch, we've had the electricity checked, and they just love to let you know they're there.
Well, this is all exciting. So now I guess something that might be questioned by our viewers is, how do we get to see you?
Well, you go to our website, seancemediumfl@aol.com, and book a seance with us. Give us a call, write us an email.
How hard is it to get to Casadega? Well, so first I'll explain where Casadega is for people, because some people may not know.
Well, Casadega is it's the sister camp of Lilydale.
Mm-hmm.
They used to come to Casadega. We say we had the first snowbirds in Florida, where people from all the other spiritualist camps up north who get snowed in would come down to Casadega, so we're open year-round. And that's a wonderful opportunity. You can get to come see us anytime. And second, we're even listed in the book, the other things to do in Central Florida than Disney.
Okay.
So
Because you're not far from Disney World.
No,
but
we're
you're
not.
closer to Daytona.
We're closer
right
to-
off of 4, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's just a little two less a right, and you're in Casadega.
I'll call you on the Disney World for spirits when I'm down there. All right, well, Victor, thank you for joining us today, and we loved having you. Probably will have you again sometime and talk about some of the other phenomenal things that you're so educated on, such as spiritualism and quantum physics. Just love to get into that with you sometime for our viewers. So thank you for joining us.
Well, no, it's my pleasure, and I love to keep learning. You know me, I go and sit with so many other people and still keep studying. So I'll keep you advised of the latest.
Yes, you do. All the
latest technologies that happen.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today on Metaphysical Moments. Keep watching, because we're going to put up some of Victor's favorite books if you're interested in the topic. We'll have that listed along with, again, how to get a hold of him. So, here we are for another close of Metaphysical Moments. See you soon.